Okay, we're going to be talking about graphing sine functions. So graph y equals sine x in your calculator, and this is what it looks like. Okay, and I'm going to change my window, and I'm going to make my x max, min negative 1, my x max 1. Ooh, that was bad. Don't do that. Ignore. Go back to regular. Here we go. There we go. Yay! It's wavy. Alright, so what you need to know. Y equals sine x always vacillates between 1 and negative 1. Sine graphs pass through the origin, always. Periodic period is periodic. It's periodic, and that means the period is the horizontal distance of one cycle. And amplitude is the vertical distance from a crest or trough to the x-axis. So, consider y equals a sine of bx. The amplitude is the absolute value of a. So the amplitude is the absolute value of the number in front of the word sine. The period is 2 pi over absolute value of b. So the period is equal to 2 pi divided by the absolute value of the number in front of the x. Amplitude is the vertical height of the graph, and the period is the horizontal length, or one cycle. So, let's do an example. I want you to graph this. It's easy. Okay, so first of all, you have to figure out what the amplitude is. It says graph y equals sine of x. And for these kind, you do not need graph paper. You just sketch the way I did it. Make the x-axis longer. All right, so graph y equals sine x. The amplitude is the number written in front of the word sine. There's not a number written, so it's understood to be 1. The period is 2 pi divided by the number written in front of the x. There's not 1, so it's understood to be 1. So your period's 2 pi. So the hardest thing that my students have in doing these problems is breaking up the x-axis. Your period goes all the way over here. And then you break it up into 4 pieces. So 4 pieces. You then divide your period by 4. So 2 divided by 4. And you turn it into a fraction. And you get pi over 2. So this is pi over 2. And then you keep adding by pi over 2. Pi over 2 plus pi over 2 is pi. Pi plus 5 over 2, pi plus pi over 2 is 3 pi over 2. And that's how you break it up. So you put your period on the right, you break it up into 4 pieces, and then you divide your period by 4, put it over here, and then you keep adding by whatever its number is. All right, so my amplitude, it goes on the y-axis. 1 and negative 1. And again, we're sketching. All right, so now I'm ready to graph my sine function. I'm ready. What you do is this. You go up, down. Oh, ew, 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 ew. Let me correct. All right, I'm going to correct where my amplitudes are. I didn't give myself enough room, so I'm going to move it down a little. And because I'm sketching, I can do that. So I'm going to put them up here. Now I have enough room. When you sketch a sine graph, it always starts on the origin. You go up, and then down, and keep going down, and then up. And that's what it looks like every single time. It looks like that. Now the period is the distance from this distance it takes to make a whole cycle. And that means to go up and down. So here is the period. It took 2 pi. The amplitude is the vertical distance from a trough or a crest to the x-axis. I was a little crooked, but that's what that means. Then it says list the 5 critical points. The 5 critical points are the highest points, which is here, and that occurs at pi over 2, 1. The lowest point, which is right here, and that occurs at 3 pi over 2, negative 1, and then where it crosses the x-axis. So here, which is 0, 0. Here, which is pi 0, and here, which is 2 pi 0. So if I ask you to do the critical points, I mean the highest and lowest points and where it crosses the x-axis. Now I'm going to do this one. Graph y equals sine of 3x. First of all, you have to figure out what the amplitude and the period is. The amplitude is the number written in front of the sign. The word sine, there's not one, so it's understood to be 1. The period is the number written in front of the x. So it's 2 pi divided by the number written in front of x. So your period is 2 pi over 3. Now, to break up your x-axis, you put your period all the way on the right. Then you break it into 4 equal parts. And then you take your period and you divide it by 4. And you get pi over 6. Then you just keep adding by pi over 6. So 1 over 6 plus 1 over 6 is pi over 3. And then pi over 3 plus pi over 6 is 1/2, or pi over 2. That's how you do it, pi over 2. Okay, my amplitude is 1, so this is 1, and this is negative 1. All right, and you start at the origin. Now I'm ready to graph. You always start at the origin. You go up to pi over 6, down through pi over 3, down to pi over 2, and up to 2 pi over 3. They always look the same. And then it says find the 5 critical points. Your high point is pi over 6, 1. Your low point is pi over 2, negative 1. And then where it hits the x-axis is 0, 0. Pi over 3, 0. And 2 pi over 3, 0. There's your 5 critical points. All right, I want to do this one. Graph y equals 3 sine of 2x. The amplitude is the number written in front of sine, so that's 3. The period is 2 pi divided by the number written in front of x, which is 2 over 3. When you do that in your calculator, 2 divided by 2 over 3, you get 3. So this is equal to 3 pi. So, to label your x-axis, you put your period all the way on the right, break it up into 4 parts. You divide by 4, and 3 pi divided by 4 is 3 pi over 4. And then you're going to keep adding by 3 pi over 4. So 3 over 4 plus 3 over 4 is 3 pi over 2. And 3 pi over 2 plus 3 over 4 is 9 pi over 4. And mine aren't very equal. And then you do your amplitude. This is going to be negative 3. As long as you label it, I don't really care where on the axis it is. Just make sure you give yourself enough room. Then you're ready to graph. Sine graphs always start on the origin. You go up to 3 pi over 4, down through 3 pi over 2, down and back up. 5 critical points. Your high point, 3 pi over 4, 3. Your low point, 9 pi over 4, negative 3. Where it hits the origin, 0, 0. Where it hits the x-axis, 3 pi over 2, 0. And 3 pi, 0. Okay. This time I want you to give me the amplitude and the period of the following graph. The period seems to be 2 pi. Why? Here's 2 pi right here. And that's how long it took to go up. That's how long it took to do one complete cycle. The amplitude is 1, 2, 3, or if you want to count it this way, 1, 2, 3. So the amplitude is 3. And the period is 2 pi. And I want you to give me the equation. Well, the equation is y equals a sine of bx. You know a is 3. You do not know b. To figure out b, you have to do 2 pi over b equals the period you found, which is 2 pi. If the variable's down low, you switch them, you know. So you get 2 pi divided by 2 pi equals b, so b is 1. So your formula, your equation is y equals 3 sine x. This one, give the amplitude and period of the following graph, give the equation. This time, I would say that the period is 4 pi. You go from here to here, and it took 4 pi. So your period is 4 pi. I lied. That's not right. We'll do this one in class. I want to rethink it. This one, graph y equals negative 4 sine 3x. This one's negative, it's a little different. The amplitude is the number written in front of the sign, but it's the absolute value, so it's still 4. The period is the number written in front of x, but it's 2 pi divided by the number in front of x. So that's 3. So 2 pi over 3. So you put 2 pi over 3 on the right. You break it up into 4 equal parts. You do 2 pi over 3 divided by 4 in your calculator. And you get pi over 6. I think we've done this one already. Pi over 6, pi over 3, and then 1/3 plus 1/6 is 1/2. Okay, and my amplitude is still 4, and negative 4. Okay, but the difference is this one's negative sign. The only thing you do different when you have a negative sign is you go down first instead of up first. So I go down, up. That is the only difference between a positive and negative sign. So 0, 0, where it crosses the x-axis, pi over 3, 0, 2 pi over 3, 0. Then you have pi over 6, negative 4, and pi over 2, positive 4. And I will do some more examples tomorrow. Thank you.